Trackside, and welcome Lucky Dog Luke Garrigus. Now we ask you to rise, place your hand over your stomach, and feel free to sing along as he performs the Oscar Mayer Weenie Song.
Wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be. And if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me.
Why nobody come around when the show ends? You really find out who's your friend. They only there for the money when it's all spent. It only counts when it all adds up. Why nobody come around when the show ends? You really find out who's your friend. They only there for the money when it's all spent. It only counts when it all adds. She said, I'm the problem. I say, baby, what you mad about? I don't see you tripping every time I go to cashing out. Speaking on my business, in no way I'm gonna be crashing out. If you really down with me, like mama say, no, ain't it out. Add it from me, make a list so I can pass around. I don't need a Bentley, I'ma take chance. I'm trying to get it now. Afraid it's really enemy, just think that I ain't figured out. Ain't got time to worry about it. I'm just out here winning out. We count it up until we make them turn their lights out. I work too hard just to see it go away. I want it all, so I gotta get it right.
Live from the Minuteman Studio in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for Thursday, May 29th, 2025. You tuned in to the Generation Evolution Live on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. I'm Blake.
I'm Cristian.
I'm Mark.
And this is a little bit of a treat. Recently on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, someone we know better as R Truth, said he was releasing a brand new single soon, country music. So this is Ron Killings, When It All Adds Up. Came out this week. It's for the Thursday show, just for reactions alone.
Shit, this is good.
Is this really good? Is this really good?
I'm gonna come back to this in
It's
one
not
moment.
bad.
I'm gonna come back
Who's
to this.
the,
Hang on. Christian wants to say something.
What the fuck was that open?
Okay, I'll explain that in a second. So, all right.
So,
This is really
who's he working with? Because
I don't know. It's literally a country single that came out this week, and I was like, I'm going to play it on Thursday show. I figured it ties in with wrestling for us too. It actually works great for us. It ties in with pro wrestling. So there you go. So
all right.
anyway, so to explain what the cold open was about. That was actually meant for Sunday's show, but because of the Ron Cena entrance, we obviously replaced it with that instead, because anything that it was Ron Cena, I could not have that as the opening. That last week was the Indy 500. The Indy 500 is one of the biggest races of the entire year.
I know what that is.
I'm explaining it to people that don't know. And for the first time ever this year, they had the Weenie 500, where they had all 8 Weenie mobiles in the world.
Why is there more than one?
Because they're all it's international, and there's 8 Weenie built. The first time, all 8 of them are in the same place at the same time. They had a race. I don't remember anymore. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. But that was, instead of doing the national anthem, they sang the Oscar Mayer Weenie song to open up the race.
Hands on your stomach.
That was amazing, and I had to share it with you guys. It was too damn funny not to share.
That was absolutely amazing.
Plus, everyone that had the Oscar Mayer Wiener whistle, they were playing along with the.
How do you say that they weren't blowing it?
It was too easy. It was too much fun not to share that with you guys. I had to do it.
That was absolutely beautiful.
So, all right. We have today's show's gonna be a little shorter than normal because next week another big Thursday show about previews. So I figured this week we won't go too long because next week we'll go long again. But first things first.
Look over and oh my god.
We're gonna start at WWE NXT TNA. Because apparently that's all one company right now. Apparently we're doing it now.
WWNXTNA.
Well, I joke that NXTNA is Tuesday Night Show right now. It's NXTNA right now. You know, when Mike Santana doing a full entrance, it's like, okay, that's what we're doing now. And Dad, I think, froze.
That's beautiful.
It's not us. We're fine. Although I have like 4 screens here and we're fine.
My phone's perfect.
So he's froze.
That's a great freeze frame. Mo.
Wow.
that's a
Huh. Oh, there he is. He's back. He's back. All right, so let's get to one big news item before we get to the weirdness that is NXT and A. So this past weekend we were joking on last Thursday's show how WWE decided to run the NXT show head to head with Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, July is AEW's next big show. It is All In. The big show, huge one. We'll talk more about that later on in today's show. Well, on Monday, there was a press release. And we all knew that Saturday Night's main event was going to be that night. We all knew this. And that's actually why All In was moved to the afternoon, was so that it didn't have to go head to head with Saturday Night's main event. I completely understood that at the time. Everyone understood it. The Texas Stadium understood it. Everyone got it. Right? So then, WWE put out a press release. And this is the press release. That on July 10th and 11th in Atlanta, they're going to be doing Saturday's main event, Evolution 2, which was apparently was supposed to be in Long Island. They moved it to Atlanta. I have a friend that's really upset about that. And then, to top it all off, because those two shows are happening at the State Farm Arena, at Center Stage Theater, which is obviously the old school WCW, home of WCW Saturday night, they're doing NXT Great American Bash head to head with All In.
Oh my God.
So now, that Thursday, by the way, we will now have 3 shows to preview, and Evolution will obviously do on Sunday.
Yep.
So that is that. Thoughts?
Yeah. Who the hell is doing the scheduling that you're going to run head to head with your competition?
You know what's funny? This has to be a TKO thing. Because everyone's blaming Triple H. I'm like, Triple H has nothing to do with where they book the shows. It has nothing to do with that.
So
it's not a department.
So we're saying it's a Rock thing.
No, I'm not blaming Rock either. Rock has nothing to do with this. Rock is filming movies. Rock is filming movies right now.
Okay.
It's got to be a Nick Khan thing. It's got to be a Nick Khan thing.
Nick Khan and Tony Khan.
Yeah, Nick Khan is the WWE president.
Right.
So I believe he's the one that's in charge of doing this part of things. So it's got to be his fault.
That's just ludicrous.
And as I was talking to my friend Josh about this, and he's like, well, the NXT show is practically free anyway. And if you're buying All In, you're going to watch All In. I'm like, but that's not the point. It isn't the point. Because now, here's the, and we'll get into this when we get to AEW, because I have a lot of some issues with Double or Nothing that people don't apparently have.
Oh,
we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. But Double or Nothing aired on Sunday night and ended on Monday. Aired on Sunday night, ended on Monday morning sometime. But I'll get there. Trust me, we'll get there. The fuck? NXT started at the same time as Double or Nothing. NXT, by the way, was over by 9:30. We all went to bed. Everyone else was still going on. But anyway,
bloody fucking hell.
But I stayed off all social media until Monday morning so I didn't get spoiled for Double or Nothing. And that seems impossible, but I've done it for New Japan shows too, so it's not that difficult for me to do. A lot of people are not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll shut down my social media and I'll watch NXT later on that night or whatever, or the next morning before Evolution. Like, I have no problem doing that personally, but it's not the point. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do this. That's because All In is going to probably go like 4 or 5 hours. So like, it's All In. They just started. All In should go out long, but that's not the point. So I just have issues with it. I have a lot of issues with that personally.
Is All In the pay-per-view that started AEW?
All In is All In. Now, here. Okay, you'll love this story. We'll get to All In. Here's All In. So All In technically All In was an independent show by name because there's no company attached to the original All In. Obviously, this is who you're talking about. Matter of fact, if you listen to Cody's podcast that dropped this week, his first podcast of what do you want to talk about dropped this week. Brandy was on it, and they actually talked about All In on there, and because Brandy was involved in the Nick Aldis Cody match. By the way, if you probably Cody now refers to AEW on his podcast as the alternate promotion. That's how he refers to AEW on his podcast. By the way, that made me laugh.
Beautiful.
That made me laugh really hard. But anyway, the All In technically was run independently, but was helped by Ring of Honor. So the All In name was actually owned by Ring of Honor until TK bought it. So now TK obviously owns Ring of Honor, so he owns the All In name, and that was probably part of the reason. I think I guarantee that was part of the reason. All In's a better name. I love the All In name personally. It's a great brand name. It's a great brand name personally. You didn't go. You guys did not follow the social media presence All In the first time with the All In graphics when they would announce people that are going to be there, and everyone was all in. Everyone was all in. That was intensifying the excitement for me because everyone was all in. It was so much fun for like the 3 months that led up to All In the first time. Like it was so fun.
Wasn't that those days where they would announce the press conference and then
well, that was different. That was different. That was
okay.
completely
All right.
3 months that led up to the show. There was no TV promotion of the show. It was all online. They didn't do anything on TV. It was online. That show was amazing. Anyway, back to this. Let's jump over to NXT. Now that we're calling that right now,
I guess.
So I guess we will start. We'll start in order of events. We're not going to go through the entire pay-per-views. By the way, if you want that, I can put some links up on our show notes, which by the way now on Substack. If you go find us on Substack, we now have show notes, and the show notes will have links to people that I will link you up to Pro Wrestling.net and a Pro Wrestling Torch, where you can get really good reviews and really good reports of these shows. Because they did a phenomenal job covering all these shows live over the weekend. They did a phenomenal job. John Moore over at the Torch and Darren Lilly over at .net. Darren Lilly at the Torch. John Moore at the .net did the NXT show, and Jason Powell and Wade Keller did the Double Wrestling show. So great job to all of them for all their hard work this weekend. But anyway, we'll start NXT. There's one massive thing that happened. One massive thing that happened on the NXT Battleground. It was a good show. I enjoyed Battleground a lot. I had no complaints. I have no notes. I enjoyed Battleground a lot. But the big thing was obviously the title change. That changed the landscape now or everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful freeze frame of his face.
That was right after he won the belt. That's right after he won the belt. And that his Trick Williams is now the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Let me put that in perspective. An NXT WWE superstar is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
First time ever. First time this has ever happened. And the dogs are barking.
No Braun Breaker.
But
Say his name and he appears. Say his name and he appears.
there we go. All right, so okay, I'm gonna address something here. There's a lot of people pissed off at WWE right now. You mind muting when you get a cough like that, please? Thank you. There's a lot of people really pissed off at WWE right now over Joe Henry losing his title. Yeah, you coughing is one picking at his nails. Obviously the people didn't actually watch TNA for the last 2 months. I'm a massive Joe Hendry fan. Please, don't take this the wrong way. This is probably the clip from my clips coming from this episode. His championship reign wasn't that good. I hate to say that, but I'm being honest. It wasn't that good of a reign. When most of the last 2 months of your reign is hanging out with Elijah.
That's not really.
Yeah, and most of your pay-per-view, the NXT TNA did a whole bunch of PLEs, and a bunch of his shows were in tag matches as champion, as world champion.
That's fun.
So, if that's the problem here, like I have an issue with all of that. But people are freaking out, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe WWE did this." I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I prefer this right now. I think Joe Henry's better as challenger. Trick Williams is now in the history books. And here we are. Guys, your thoughts on Trick Williams being the TNA champion? Cristian, you start because Dad's still coughing.
I'm gonna say, holy shit, because this is a first time ever, like you said, in the record books. But I'm gonna say this: I've seen some Henry matches. I like flippy shit.
He's not. He's old school. He's very old school. He's very, very old
And
school. Which is not a bad thing. Which is not a bad thing.
Yes, which is respectable. But I like you know me. I like my flippy shit. But he's not a bad wrestler, and
he's good for what he is.
But I am glad Trick won. That can lead into
something bigger,
something much bigger, because it would be all hell breaking loose if Joe Hendry lost the title. Just I don't even know.
I know I'm looking for a graphical fast follow. I'm looking for something graphical fast, but I'm looking for a graphic having to do with this. But Dad, your thoughts on Trick Williams being champion of TNA?
Mixed. Only because
that's what
if you're going.
Yeah,
that's what the T and TNA.
If you're,
yeah, I don't think he knows who we're talking to.
The T and TNA stands for Trick.
He actually said Trick and A on Tuesday's show.
So. It's Trick and A.
Anyway, Dad, yeah.
I'm just mixed because number one, okay, I'm happy for him that he won this major title. That's great. Kudos. Great accomplishment. But now things are going to be all chaotic to trying to figure what else is going to happen. My thing is this confrontation with Mike Santana, and Mike has made it very clear that he wants to take the belt back off of Trick and basically put it on a TNA wrestler, because he basically, Mike Santana, is not happy with the result. And you can't blame him, because it's always been, you stay on your side of the fence and I'll stay on mine. And if we happen to work together somewhere down the road, that's great. But your belt stays with your company. My belt stays with my company.
The only thing I will say about that, and I actually have a thought on that, this now makes every title match that they do on all future shows unpredictable. Every match now is unpredictable. Now, before this, I'll take a perfect example. Fraction Hardys. That match is for the TNA Tag Team Champions. The minute they said that, everyone knew the Hardys was going to win.
Or another thing, for Oba versus Moose.
Yes, that was another
put the NXT title on the line.
Perfect.
Everyone knew Oba was going to win. Even though it was a good, not going to lie.
I want to see a rematch. But that's another perfect example. So the perfect example. By the way, hey, people watching, if you want to comment, please leave comments and we'll put them up on the screen as long as they're appropriate and not political. Thank you. No, it's important right now.
I know. But before this, Oba Femi and Moose, Oba's going to win. The Hardys in.
There were the Mexican title matches too. The Mexican title matches. There were tag team title matches.
Everyone knew whoever's title was on the line was going to win. But now, because of this, it's going to be unpredictable. We could have NXT winning TNA again, or TNA winning NXT
belts. Exactly. There's so much that could happen now. I like it.
Now this is much better.
So Santana, by the way, Dad. Your question about Santana. But okay. So they aired. You didn't see this on Tuesday. They aired a TNA style Mike Santana video on NXT. I legitimately looked at Mandy and I'm like, what night is it? What night is this? Is this? Because I watch TNA on Friday mornings usually. It's Thursday night, and we're doing this. We do this, and after the show, I go watch Gordon Ramsay shows with Mandy. So I don't
completely fair.
Yeah. So I watch it on Fridays usually when I'm doing stuff around the house. I have TNA on. I literally looked at Mandy and I'm like, what night of the week is this? This is literally straight up a TNA designed package. And then Mike Santana comes out and does his full entrance through the crowd. And I'm like, this is insanity. Like, what is going on here? They're doing next week on NXT programming, on NXT show, they're doing Santana versus Trick for the title. Mm-hmm. And here's my issue with that. There's no way in hell to do a title change next week. Everyone knows that. Here's why they're doing this, and people don't realize this yet. Because TNA is actually obviously airing tonight, as we're doing the show tonight.
Go watch TNA if you want.
After the show, because there's actually part of the reason we started at 6:30 now, because we're no longer going to head to have a TNA anymore. But that's part of the reason we moved up a half hour. That's part of the reason we did that. Part of the reason. But anyway, Trick Williams is being promoted for tonight's show. Here's the problem. they re-recorded tonight's show before Battleground. They recorded tonight's show. So that's probably why they're doing this whole Santana trick thing on NXT, because it's live.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next TV show taping will be Trick actually on the show. That's the problem they're running into right now. By the way, Trick Williams, applaud this man. Today, TNA announced they're returning to Pittsburgh. Put a big video up promoting you're going back to Pittsburgh. One of the comments on the first comment that I saw was Trick Williams saying, "Why am I not in this video?" I cracked up at that. That made me laugh.
That's fucking amazing.
That's fantastic. So, yeah, I did too. It was on that then.
So, let me see if I got this straight.
Don't hurt yourself.
Ha ha ha. So, both companies have an understanding about doing cross promotion. We'll look at it that way.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
All things considered.
So, my question would be, does that mean Trick is a temporary employee of TNA?
I don't know how that works. That's a great question.
He's an NXT star, but he gets paid by TNA.
It's a great question.
He got the NXT superstar paid by
here's
TNA.
the thing. They had the owner of TNA.
Okay, that wasn't the owner of
Battleground.
TNA. No. Okay, let me correct that.
Okay.
That was not the owner of TNA. That was the president of TNA. The owner of TNA is Anthem. It's Anthem. There is no official owner. There's no McMahon, something like that
Thank
owns.
God.
No.
Okay.
I mean, as a person, there's no one person that owns this company. Anthem owns the company,
Okay.
and that's actually that guy's stupid. That guy's stupid face is the guy that replaced Scott D'Amore. So I was actually happy to see him upset.
Silva?
In his stupid face.
God damn.
But
when this man hates someone, he really does hate someone.
he replaced Scott D'Amore. I'm bitter about that. I'm really bitter about that.
And you're not the only one. So
Furious is now running the book apparently now in TNA.
My again, right there, my point still stands. When this man hates someone, he hates that person.
I'm just being honest.
Honesty is the key.
Let's move on. We have a couple things in the Tuesday show to talk about real fast. So Tuesday, everyone's excited. We're going to watch NXT. Trick Williams is the champion. He's going to cut a promo. Mike Santana will be on the show. On Sunday's show, they announced that Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints is going to happen to start the show on Tuesday. Well, what we didn't expect at all, was a title change to open up the show. All Ethan Page is once again the NXT North American men's North American
He's again
champion.
I thought this was his first time winning it.
I don't. Well, I could have people kept saying again.
He probably is an NXT champion again.
People kept saying again. I'm gonna double check this
Because I know he won the NXT
I could have
title.
sworn this was the first time he won the title, but people kept saying again. So I'm gonna double check this.
Either they meant it by an actual or like another, like he's NXT champion again.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Okay, well,
that was not pointed at the camera. There's
I know.
a text message for everyone looking.
But I'm gonna look this up real fast. But your thoughts on Paige winning this thing while into this?
I'm gonna go first. This did not need to happen. Ethan did not need this right now. Fine, he needed some wins, but he didn't need to win the title again. Or
look it up.
Yeah, didn't need to win the title, but I got nothing else.
Dad?
I didn't expect this to happen, and I didn't want this to happen because I want Ricky.
His first reign.
Okay, so probably
officially.
It was probably NXT champion.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. Just to clarify, it is his first reign. Continue.
Yeah, I didn't want this to happen. I was looking forward to Ricky Saints having a longer title run, and now that it's been cut short, I'm miffed because Ethan Page had probably
You know what's funny?
a contender for the NXT title.
You know what's funny?
He didn't need this title
Okay,
when
here's
he's
your
going to go after the big prize.
Here's try to say something. Go ahead.
I swear. But you know what's funny?
This is a delay.
I know. What? Jesus Christ! What the hell is that sound?
That's my glucose alarm.
You know what's funny? All 3 ex-AW people who just got in the company won the same title back to back to back.
You're right.
Sean Spears
You are 100%
to Ricky
right about
Saints
that.
to Ego Page.
Ego
Page,
that.
Ethan Page.
You're 100% right about that. I'm
Mhm.
looking at it. Looking right at it. You're 100% right about that.
And
That is crazy.
the ex-AW came here recent, won the same title back to back to back.
That's crazy. I didn't think about that until you said it. And I'm looking at the
Looking at it.
Mm-hmm. But okay, here's the thing I've heard of Ricky Saints. My first brain thought when watching this live.
Did Lexus King win it? No, he only won the Heritage Cup.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing here. I'll say this about this. I'm hearing Ricky Saints might get called up as soon as next week.
Already? Damn.
Yeah, I'm hearing this as soon as next week. This is why they're dropping out. Because my first thought was he was hurt. That was my first thought. Was that I'm waiting for because the way that match went, I'm like, he's hurt, isn't he? Ricky must be hurt.
That's the thing with like title changes that are so unexpected. Either one of 3 things, if it's an NXT or a main roster. Hurt on either roster, NXT getting called up, or number 3 has to go away for a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. And this title change happens and we're all stunned. But again, it's Ethan Page. You can understand Ethan Page winning a title. What you don't expect.
Also, can you throw the pictures one more time?
Of course.
I love it. His smile, and the ref is the most serious guy you will ever see in your life.
Oh, I love the Ethan sucks sign right behind him too, by the way. I didn't realize until just now.
We have
There it is.
And the most serious ref you will ever see in mankind history.
So at the end of the show, we have Stephanie McCure versus JC Jane. And it's for the NXT Women's Championship. It was set up on Sunday. Now,
I'm pissed about this one.
Let's explain how this is going down. So Tuesday night, I'll admit, I'm exhausted. I had a 13-hour workday, and I'm exhausted. And I just want to go to bed. The show ends at 9 o'clock. The show ends early, so it's not that big of a deal. And we're watching the main event. And I'm like, we just end this match, please, so I can go to bed.
Oh, no.
And I thought Stephanie's going to win. Obviously, Stephanie's going to win the title. We're going to hit the title. We're going to move on. Continue on. And she's going to have the belt when she goes to the World Collide show because she's going to tag match at World Collide. And everything will be fine. My World Collide is next Saturday. But then we get to we're finishing up. The crowd goes crazy. They do the whole thing with Booker. They do that. Everyone loves Stephanie's ass. They start chanting Booker T's name. And then
that is the most statement.
And then
Kane is continuing to push through. But another counter. Jasmine Nix has the official. Fallon Henley, what the hell?
Fallon Henley just delivered a kick around the ring post into the face of the champion.
Referee didn't see what's going on. Oh my God, core elbow from JC Jane. Jane falling into the cover. Hook in the leg. And
ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner and the new NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane.
I'm gonna start real quick. That freeze frame is that Mike Rome? Mike Rome, completely shocked. And then the bell person is like, "You have to say it. Gotta say it. Just tap him on the shoulder, tell him to say it." And he's shocked beyond belief.
So this happens, right? And literally, Mandy's like, "No, Mandy's not even. We're half watching. We're thinking something's beginning. We're only half watching." And all of a sudden, Mandy's like, "No fucking way." The 3 hits, and literally, we're both sitting there stunned. We're legitimately stunned. I don't get stunned very often. I'm legitimately stunned. And then we went off the air. Just like that. With the crowd stunned, the whole arena deflated. He's holding the belt. Stephanie's in front of Booker. Everyone's stunned. That's when we went off the air. That's exactly how the show went to black. Wow. Did not see this coming.
I don't know
level. Dad, I'll throw it to you. You want to say something to me come up out of the video.
based on the expression from Mike Rome, it looked like he didn't. How can I put it?
You didn't know?
He wasn't in
Well,
on.
I can tell you the truth. Most of the I've heard this from a lot of people. The ring announcers don't know.
Really?
Ring announcers don't know. They don't know what's going on purpose because they want their natural reactions. Hence why
That makes the
a lot of had a lot of the calls on the main roster are so good because they don't know what's going on, and that's the best part.
and example at WrestleMania with Cody.
Oh, yeah.
Winning finally. That was legit.
Samantha crying. That was amazing.
That was legit.
amazing. But this is one of those moments where he didn't know. And he said on Instagram that he didn't know. On Instagram, he said that.
I'm sorry. That's
And
one
he,
of the
he,
greatest.
he put that picture up, by the way. He put that.
That's
pretty
one of the
thing on himself.
greatest. That is
Mike
one of
Rome
the
put that photo
greatest ring announcer expressions, just reactions ever, in my opinion.
So this happens, and everyone's stunned. Everybody's stunned. I go to the podcast the next morning. Everyone's stunned.
I'm stunned.
I'm stunned still. I love Stephanie and everything too. I'm becoming a massive fan of Stephanie over here. But like,
Because they asked.
well, I'm very consistent. I'm very consistent. We'll see what it is. They're in a her and Lola Vice are in a tag match at Rose Collide against two AAA girls that I don't know yet, but I want to.
Come on.
I want to know who they are.
But
I don't know. I think he's having connection issues. He's having connection issues tonight.
he looks like he fell asleep.
Remember the first time?
No. No, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm. You guys are dropping out, and I can't.
Us, because we're looking at all of our screens and we're fine. We have like 5 screens on, and we're fine. It's on your end. It's on your end, not our end. But
For once.
anyway, I was gonna say something. So JC Hayden is now the champion. So the next day, people are trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. The truth, right? You got a lot of the news reporters are taking in. Here's what's happening. So apparently, Stephanie and Jordan are being called up in the next couple of weeks. It sounds like Stephanie is going to Raw. Jordan's going to SmackDown. And obviously, Ricky Sainz obviously is getting called up. So it sounds like everything that happened this week is all because of call-ups.
Okay.
So that does explain a lot if that's why they put on Jordan on Sunday.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Well, let me comment on all these new signings that just recently came with the company are now being called up. Which
They didn't have to be down here anyway. They didn't have to be down here anyway, honestly.
Which leads me to believe that they're high on these people if they're getting called up to the main roster.
Yeah.
And they're like putting, I don't want to sound cliche, but like they're putting all their eggs in one basket.
I wouldn't go that far.
My thing is, if you get other people like, and I'll use an example, Javon Evans, who is working his ass off.
Javon Evans is in a title match next week at World Collide.
Against.
He's actually facing Ethan Page. He's in a 4-way.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that match was announced. Oh, yeah, I can get that graphic up here. I don't have the graphic, but I have it in the banner section here. The match that was announced after Ethan Page wins the title, he comes out for the main event. And Javon Evans interrupts him and says, I have a match against you at World Collide. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Because why would they do an NXT only match at World Collide? You want to see the actual match, Christian?
Yeah.
It's Ollie Ethan Page, Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix.
Wow.
That's the match next Saturday at World Collide. We'll get into that obviously on next Thursday show. But that's
wow.
You can tell I was getting a step ahead on my end. But yeah, so there's a lot going on with this World Collide show.
Okay, so the question I had, are there any ill wills that these new signings are getting called up to the main roster?
You keep saying new signings. They're veterans that didn't need to be down in NXT to begin with. They didn't need to be there.
No, I understand that. I just
they were there to get associated with the WWE production. That's the only reason they were down there. They were not down there because they needed to be there. They were down there for production reasons. You know? And so that's that. That's why they were there.
Okay.
So, all right, let's move on. Let's jump over to AEW. We have some stuff at AEW I gotta cover real fast. Double or Nothing happened. Now, I joked earlier. So on Monday, Andy told me, start the show without me. You want to get into things. You want the pre-show and everything. Start the show without me. The pre-show on Sunday night started at 5:30 our time, which is 6:30 Eastern time. That's 3:30 Arizona time, where the show was. The pre-show was an hour and a half. There was a couple matches on there. The main show started at 7 o'clock our time. I did not know how long the show was going to go based on the timer, because on Prime, they don't put the timer up. The day after, apparently. 5.5 hours later, it took me 3 different times watching the show on Monday to finish it. 5.5 hours later, the show was over. The show ended at 12:30 our time, which is only 10:30 their time. But that's 1:30 Eastern time. That's long. That's too long. I know it's a holiday weekend. I get that. But she looks so annoyed for some reason right now.
It's just this whole fucking long. I didn't sit through it, but knowing my dumb ass, I couldn't sit through it.
Yeah, it was 5.5 hours.
Wrestling shows do not need to be that fucking long.
I'll accept it once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always accept it on a WrestleMania night. Always.
Yes.
When it was just one night, I always accepted it.
And
I'll accept All In, especially because it's an afternoon show.
And for sometimes the one night WrestleMania, like, helped the storyline perfectly.
Well, I'm almost there. Don't get me started on WrestleMania Dallas the first time.
Never
Don't
mind.
get me started on that.
Never
WrestleMania
mind.
32. Don't get me started on that. I
Never
still
mind.
don't remember the end of that show. Seriously, I wanted Stephanie's place last week, and Triple H is on. Paul Levesque's on the show. They showed the entrance for WrestleMania 32 that Stephanie's involved in. I don't remember it.
What was it? Well, wasn't it Roman?
They know the Roman entrance, but the Roman thing. But they had a big entrance, and Steph's involved in it. It was the whole thing. I don't remember any of it. And I watched it live. I don't remember any of it. I know I watched it, but I made it fall asleep during. So that's when I started taking you off the day after Mania.
Okay.
That's when I started taking you off first the day after Mania.
I understand that Double or Nothing is AEW's big pay-per-view event.
Second biggest show of the year.
It's like their WrestleMania.
That is incorrect. All In is their Mania. I said that 5 times already on this show. All In is their WrestleMania. How I know that? It is the okay. Yeah, All In is their Mania. But my whole thing with that is that, like, I would say that this is more like their SummerSlam.
Okay.
You know, this is more their SummerSlam. But I also agree with you guys that this show was too long. It was way too long.
Well,
there's no reason for the show to go. There was no reason for there to be 11 matches. There was no reason for you were here on Sunday show, Dad. We were previewing it. And there was a bunch of matches. I'm like, that could happen on Dynamite. That could have happened on Collision. That could have happened in the main event of Dynamite. That could have happened there. And then you could have cut the show down by a good hour and a half just based on those cuts alone. But instead, we go 5.5 hours. And there are people that are happy about this. I don't get it. How are you happy if this show is going so fucking long? I don't understand people that are like, oh my God, I'm so happy this show went long. Yay, I didn't get any sleep that night. I know it's a holiday weekend. I get that. But come on.
My understanding is some of the talent were also upset that this pay-per-view was long and dragged out, according to them. And they were exhausted, past exhausted, because the show went long. And now I guess they're looking into, according to Tony, looking at time constraints as far as
blah, blah, blah. He's been saying that for 3 years.
I know.
I don't believe him at all. I don't believe anything he's saying, honestly. I don't believe anything he's saying when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know, he will not do that. And I understand the mentality of, like, people are paying $50 for this show, so they want to make sure people get their money's worth. People, we used to pay $50 for pay-per-views for a long time, and they were only 3 hours back in the day.
Yeah, maybe 3.5 hours.
No. They had to be 3 hours. People cut them off. It had to be 3 hours. I mean, that's my point. They had to be. You know, it was only special occasions they were allowed to go 4 hours. You know? And nobody complained then. Nobody complained. They weren't getting their money's worth then. You know, what the hell is the difference? You know, the difference is WWE Network is the difference. But that's not the point.
Yeah.
I mean, Thriller is the difference. But, like, it's the fact.
And for an example, WrestleMania and SummerSlam, 2 nights. I understand it because a lot of things.
I don't understand SummerSlam being 2 nights, but that's a whole different thing. We'll get into that. Later. Today.
But, you know, when you have your big pay-per-view like WrestleMania, your biggest of the year, I understand the 2 nights because there's matches that you want to get and showcase. I understand that. Now, with this being said, I don't think I see Tony Khan doing anything like that. I think he's just going to say, you know what the hell, let's just get it all done and over with in one night. You know, that's great for you, but you got to think of the people that are watching your product. And it's like, okay, I think you lost me at hour 4.
See,
you know,
how
many people?
Can someone catch me up on what's going on?
We're just venting. We're just stalling. We're stalling to get back.
Okay,
we're stalling. But my whole thing here is like literally. I'll give it a perfect example. This is my segue back to RNG. Anarchy in the Arena happened. This was 35 minutes, and I have no problem with it being 35 minutes because it was so much fun. It deserves to be 35 minutes. 100%. I agree with that.
And
sentiment.
I'm just going to say, the beginning of this was what was so fucking funny because I saw the highlight. It was absolutely amazing.
The changing, like doing all this kind of stuff.
The music changes was absolutely funny.
But there was so much going on. But this was 35 minutes.
Which is actually, I think is the shortest Anarchy in the Arena.
I have no idea. But I looked at your mother because she was starting to feel like she wanted a headache. She's like, I'm not going to watch the main event. Pause the show, and then you can watch the main event after I go lay down.
Which is completely understandable.
And I looked at him, I was like, did they cut the Paragon match? Because it hasn't happened yet. And there's no way they're going to put that on after Anarchy in the Arena. Boy, I was wrong. They put the Paragon Don Callis family match on after Anarchy in the Arena before the main event. And then, for some reason, Hiroshi Tanahashi was there. I have no idea why.
Why was Tanahashi here?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think it's set up for Forbidden Door. I think it's set up for Forbidden Door, which is in Toronto. I'll explain this now that I can explain this. Tanahashi showed up, and my whole thing is that he can't have a match in the States because we were at the last match in the States. It was promoted as the last match in the States, but he can have a match in Canada.
Match in the States.
But we can have a match in Canada.
Yep.
And that's for Forbidden Door.
Yep.
So I have a feeling it's all tied in with that.
Well, to come back to Anarchy in the Arena, just to
while we're waiting, yes.
The beginning of this match was absolutely hysterical. Kenny Omega saying to switch the songs, let the bodies hit the floor was playing. Absolutely hilarious. You watched it live. I came in halfway through. You kept on calling me back in for the different song changes.
I watched it on Monday, but still, that didn't matter. You know what I mean? It was still fun. The fact that they played, I'm so excited. I lost it, and I'm so excited. That was so funny to me. Did you get the joke?
No.
I'm so excited. It was just the Dynamite theme from 1 week, about 3 months.
Oh my god!
And he got so much shit for it, it didn't went away. And the funny part about it was that people were joking. Well, did he pay for it in advance? And now he had to at least play it one more time. He wanted to get his money worth and play it one more time. But Dad, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, making sure.
But I gotta say one thing about the entrances. The founding fathers.
I'm sorry, but that was funny. I enjoyed that actually. I thought it was stupid and funny. It's over the top. The fact that they wrestled in those outfits are ridiculous stuff.
Jesus Christ, it must have been, especially with the one-winged angel through the table. That must have been hot as fuck.
Especially because it exploded. But overall, I enjoyed this match. I like the fact that Swerve won
with a Swerve stomp with spiked boots.
Yes. So
shoes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So
the Jordan 1 Spikes edition.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Coming to stores near you.
Let's move. Actually, Swerve has his own shoes.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, those were his shoes.
Those
shoes.
I think they're coming out. This
I think they just came out. They just came out.
Do they come spikes?
No, those are.
No.
It's like when the Young Bucks had their shoes come out, and they did the same exact thing to Swerve. So they just got back. They got them back. By the way, my favorite part of the whole thing was that they locked the Death Riders and Gabe Kidd and all them in the ambulance that was for the ambulance earlier from the Petra match.
That's very impressive.
So they put
everyone in there.
Yeah, so that was pretty impressive. And by the way, can I give Willow fucking a lot of credit for wrestling, for being in there with all the guys almost the entire match? She spent more time wrestling the guys than Shafir. It was amazing. Like, it was absolutely incredible. That was a standout promotion stand-up match for Willow.
And she came out smiling, swinging a fucking chain.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I give credit where it's due.
I love the T-shirt that her and Hobbs were wearing.
What is Hobbs' shirt? That's actually Hobbs' shirt.
Really?
Big Jack and Black. The big Black and Jack shirt. That's actually Hobbs' shirt.
That's a great shirt. I happen to be honest. That's amazing.
So, all right.
Respect from Hobbs.
So moving on, we have the two Owen Hart Memorial Cup winners. The obvious one was Mercedes. We all knew this was going to happen.
Boo!
Okay. Stop a second here. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of Prince either. We all know this. I understand why they're doing this. I get it. But both her and Tony wanted this match. TK saving it for All In. I fully understand that point. I don't like the fact she's TBS champion still. I don't like the fact that half the storyline is she wants to have all the belts. I was kind of impressed by the two of them on Wednesday night in their promo, because I dead serious did not think Mercedes could fit into a Tony's world, and she did. But I don't know.
I don't know. The thing with Tony's promos, where half the screen is gray that she's on.
They haven't done this with Mariah. I'm
sorry. That's bring that back. That's absolutely fucking hilarious.
But at least they didn't show the clip of her at the post show this week asking for Coke. Dead serious, that happened.
Hold on. What kind of Coke? What kind of Coke? Oh, wait, who?
Tony. She went up to the fucking podium before asking any questions. So what kind of drugs could you suggest for after a match like that? She actually said that. What's legal that I could have? And something like marijuana, because that is legal in Arizona. And they're like, what else? Something harder than marijuana. It was so ridiculous.
Someone just yelled Coke?
That was so funny. And then she asked TK to get her Coke. He's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then fucking Luther's in the back trying not to crack up laughing. That's how her press conference started.
That's the best press conference.
But anyway, Dad, I hear you reacting. Your thoughts on Mercedes?
No. No. My whole thing. No.
Okay.
You're giving in to the bitch who has got no talent.
Hey, that's okay. Listen, I'm not the biggest Mercedes fan. I'm not. Sheesh. I'm not going to defend her. I don't think she's great. I don't think she's the next biggest wrestler like how people say. She has talent, or she wouldn't be here.
What, shaking your ass is a talent?
She can wrestle. She's a really, really good wrestler. You hate her for some reason. There's blind hatred for her. I don't know why. You've had her blind hatred for her for 3 years at this point.
Because she's overrated and
I'm not arguing with you on that. I never argued with you on that. My point is, you can't say she's talentless. She's a really good wrestler.
Sad part is I have to agree. She could wrestle.
She's a really good wrestler.
Even though most of the time she botches.
I don't think she should be in the main event scene like this. I don't think she should have all these belts. I think they're pushing her too much. And I agree with you 100% on that. But I'm never going to call her talentless. Ever. I'm never going to say that.
To me, she's like a mid-carder, period. That's it.
So.
And that's perfect for her because, God damn it, when she was, when she was Sasha Banks and she won the Raw Women's title. God, that was horrible.
She heard Bianca did main event WrestleMania night one though.
No, I know.
I don't say like they did main event WrestleMania.
No, that's what I'm talking about. The Raw Women's Championship when she first won the World Women's title.
That was awesome. Okay, here's the thing with Mercedes / Sasha. Sasha has one of my favorite matches of all time. Her and Bayley, and not just with the Bayley. That was one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life. Period. End of story. One of the best matches I've ever seen. Their NXT Brooklyn match, and not just because of Bayley. I love that match. Like storytelling wise, wrestling wise, that's a great great match. Her and Bianca were awesome at Mania. I honestly think he is being pushed too much on the indies and in New Japan and here. I love the fact she lost one of her belts in New Japan. It is
No,
Izumi.
she wasn't pinned for me.
Well, Izumi's champion, and Mina also got signed with AEW, which is why it went through Izumi. But I'm never going to say talentless. But I agree she's overpushed and overrated. I will agree with that. I'm not going to argue that.
She's way too fucking pushed.
So, but Mercedes versus Tony is happening. It is one of the main events of All In. The other main event, the other match, the main event of this show, another match that went over 30 minutes. It did not feel like it whatsoever. And it was 30 minutes clean. There was no outside interference. There was no one that came out. Ospreay and Hangman just had a over 30-minute classic, like a clinic of how to do a wrestling match. Absolute
Proper
fucking
way.
clinic.
Correct.
And Hangman won. Hangman is moving on to face Mox at All In. The whole storyline is that he is trying to redeem himself from the last 2 years of being an asshole. And I see people are joining us on Instagram. Hi Chuck, how you doing?
Wait, what?
Chuck, Lord of Comics, who used to do our panels.
Hi Chuck.
Is watching. Hi Chuck. But
Chuck.
Anyway, the one thing I will say is the storyline makes sense here. I think the storyline is smart. Having Hangman be the person that faces Mox. If they're not going to have Darby, because Darby's not ready, but not back yet.
Do you think he'll be next?
I don't know. I think Ospreay should be the next person, and even Hangman said that in his promo on Wednesday. I actually don't mind this. I thought this match was phenomenal. The best part of this match is because I avoided spoilers. I had zero clue who was going to win. I had no idea what was going to happen, and that's what made this match so much fun. That's what made this match so much fun. I had zero clue what was going to happen. I'll go to the second, Cristian, because I know how much of an Ospreay fan you are. Dad, your thoughts on Hangman beating Ospreay?
To be honest, I thought that this was the best match of the entire show.
I agree.
Bar none. Both gentlemen put on a exhibition that basically the younger talent should take note of. This is how you do a match. They went balls to the walls, did their finishes, did more than other things, and they both complemented each other so well. And the last part of the match is when Hangman came back in, put out his hand, and you had that moment whether or not that Ospreay was going to shake or not, and he did. And that's how they complimented each other by congratulating each other on a great match that they both gave it 110%.
The picture, by the way, I chose for the screen here, I did this on purpose because Wade Keller always talks about the old wide world of sports mentality of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Defeat, right?
And this picture says everything that you want. This picture to me defines pro wrestling. Because if you could have this visual and that crowd, that nobody left after a 5-hour marathon show. If you had an hour and a half, almost this ridiculously long show, and nobody left because this match was so damn fucking good. And then that's the photo that comes out of it. To me, that says everything. Because right behind Hangman, you can see the all-in graphic behind him.
Right.
Like it was such a moment. Cristian, as the Ospreay stand here, your thoughts.
First, congratulations to Hangman. I'm disappointed as fuck. But Ospreay will get it. I know damn well he will. He will win he will win the title. I don't care who it is, he's gonna win it. But this was one fucking match. Jesus Christ.
I want to go back and watch it again.
One spot that I loved. It was I don't remember exactly how it started because it was a clip. It was Hangman went for something. Will reversed it, went for the Oz cutter, caught him, threw him to the ground. Hangman went outside, went for the buckshot. Will ducked it. Will bounced off the ropes, went for the hidden blade, ducked it, and they stare at each other for a good solid minute.
It was amazing. It was absolutely incredible to watch.
Back to back.
In context, it was incredible. That was an incredible sequence.
But this, like you said, this photo. I am not done speaking.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm sorry.
Should be.
Go.
But this picture right here says everything about wrestling. As a sport, as a entertainment, as everything. This right here says everything you need to know. Without even watching the match, you could just look at this and see who won, who lost, the agony of defeat, the victory, everything. You don't even have to watch the whole damn match. This is all you need to see, and you will know exactly what happened.
Yeah, whoever got this photo, this photo came from AEW. This is a brilliant photo.
Give that on
yeah.
Brilliant photo.
But as a Will Ospreay fan, congratulations, Hangman Page. Hopefully, you put on one hell of a match. To be honest, I want John to retain just to see Will win it. But I don't.
I can't handle it. I can't handle the Death Riders anymore.
No,
I can't handle it anymore.
no.
We'll talk more about this though in July. When we get to July, we'll talk about that.
I just.
Yeah.
Okay, that is that. Like I said, we'll get more
I'm gonna
into
say
all
one thing
that.
though.
Go ahead.
Get rid of the fucking briefcase.
I think that's another thing. I'm so over it.
Hangman, please break open the briefcase.
All right, so two more things. We'll pass AEW, then we do have to start wrapping up. We are going a little longer because of the tech issues we had. But by the way, for those who were watching this, obviously by the time you hear this, I've edited them out. We had a bunch of tech issues in the middle of the conversation, so hopefully I edited them all out and you don't hear it, but just a little behind the scenes. We had a bunch of tech issues. We had a debut on Wednesday's show. The last month or so, there's been this weird red spider graphic that's been popping up on the broadcast. And a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know who it was. I just saw a graphic pop up, and I figured it's something debuting. And a lot of people were freaking out about this wrestler in Stardom. This is the Australian wrestler in Stardom called Takia. I'm still not trying to figure out how to pronounce the name properly.
Takia.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. But so Jamie Hayter is being interviewed, and like, why the fuck is Jamie Hayter being interviewed? Like, why is she being interviewed when Mercedes is coming out later with Tony? Like, why is Jamie Hayter being interviewed in the middle of the ring about her losing to Mercedes? Made no sense. Well, it didn't just happen.
Tekla, the toxic spider. Oh, damn. Leveled Jamie Hayter. Tekla, who most recently was competing in Stardom in Japan. And that was until she was fired with cause for striking not just a company official, for striking the president of the company. Damn. It's just stepping over Hayter. Whoa! Angela Jones, Tekla, the Austrian badass.
Jesus Christ, she's fucking flexible. Fucking hell.
Is now in AEW, now all elite.
Don't know who the fuck that is,
but damn, I can see the internet being obsessed with her soon. Like, holy fuck.
Jesus Christ, she's in the matter of 2 seconds, flexible as fuck.
So she's Australian, by the way, and she's coming out of Stardom. I love the whole backstory, by the way. Her punching on an official and punching out I love that backstory. That was a great backstory.
Yeah, Austrian. Her and Arnold Schwarzenegger probably will.
I said Australian.
Really well.
I said Australian, not Austrian, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I said Austrian. I said Australian. She's from Australia. She's like,
no.
Boy, Mike. I mean, let's wait. No, it's not.
She's Austrian.
Look, it's an Australian.
No.
Okay, we'll worry about that later. So keep that. We'll put the pin in that for probably Olin because I have a feeling her versus Jamie Hayter is going to happen in the future. Finally, last thing before we get to the question of the week.
What is her finisher called? The Widow's Peak?
I don't know. I need to know more about her because I want to know more about her because that was an impressive debut. That was an impressive
Jesus
debut.
Christ. I'm sorry. I'm still on the flexibility.
Seriously, to do that out of nowhere like that was crazy.
Just at the boom.
The only person that's ever done that crowd walk was Bray Wyatt. So like,
also the thing is, she didn't do a walk. She just stood there.
Yeah. So
really laid there. How would you say that?
I have no idea. So one more thing AEW
really
doing.
She walks though. Jesus Christ.
On Wednesday's show, they're doing Fighter Fest, and we'll talk about more of this on Sunday's show. But they're doing a little weird mini tournament for no reason whatsoever to have a match against Kenny Omega at Fighter Fest. Brody King already advanced. Those two matches are happening on Collision after NBA basketball on Saturday. I don't care. I just want to put this graphic up. People that maybe you guys cared. I don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
I put the graphic up more because they're doing a 4-hour event on fucking Wednesday. They're doing Dynamite and Collision back to back because of the playoffs. Well, a lot of people are like, why is Collision on Wednesdays the next couple weeks? Does anyone pay attention to anything going on outside of wrestling? There are 2 fucking sporting events going on right now with the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs going on, and the Stanley Cup Finals are on TNT.
Here, let me answer the question for literally everyone in the room. No, the fuck we don't.
Well, here the problem is, people actually do care, and aren't you?
No, I said no. I was saying no. No one knows, and no one sees anything besides wrestling.
Well, the Stanley Cup finals
That's
are
what I was
happening.
going
The
for.
happening finals are happening on TNT, which is why those couple of Saturdays they can't have a collision on. So they're doing it back to back with Dynamite the next couple of weeks. But the AW goes, we'll be a 4-hour special. Fuck you for that, because that was fucking annoying.
Wait,
Like, don't promote a 4-hour special. What is that a 4-hour special in back-to-back shows?
Hold up.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Just F-U-C-K-O-F-F, fuck off! Fuck off!
Okay, anyway.
Was that Bowling for Soup?
That was Green Day's newest single. That was Green Day's newest single. But anyway,
Parental advisory.
one last thing.
No, fuck that.
One last thing before we get out of here. This Saturday, if you're in Milwaukee, Dad is going to Crusher Fest on Saturday. Dad, do you want to give me details about Crusher Fest before we get out of here?
Yep. Crusher Fest is going to be on Saturday and Sunday, south of Milwaukee, where the Crusher statue is. They have this event every year, and they're bringing in some wrestlers that will be there for picture and autographs. Tito Santana, El Snow, Tommy Dreamer supposed to be there, and of course on Sunday there is a concert featuring Chris Jericho and his band.
I don't know the name of their band. I don't care. It's not Fozzy.
Yeah.
It's a band.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
But yeah, I just want to make sure
Ozzy.
everyone knows.
There you go.
So there you go. Crusher Fest going on this weekend. You can see Dad there on Saturday. Find him and say hi.
Yep.
Get an autograph.
Maybe if he actually takes pictures this year, we'll actually talk about it on the podcast or something.
Yeah, if you allow me, yes.
You can take pictures. They don't give a fuck. You're the rule follower on here. Just take photos. Nobody cares. They don't care because it's promotion. They don't care.
You say that the one time someone actually takes pictures, he gets like fucking caked out.
I have had one issue in my entire life at even a concert. They said you couldn't take pictures. It was at a Reliant K concert at the rave, where they literally took my phone and deleted pictures. It's never happened anywhere else ever. And that was in 2000 and fucking what was it? 2005. Like 2006. It was a long time ago. They, especially wrestlers, they don't care. As long as you're not taking pictures in like a paid line, like at a con, like that's the rule of a con, you gotta take pictures at a line like that. But anywhere else, they don't care. All right, let's move on. Question of the week. Even though I gave everyone 2 weeks, nobody seemed to give a fuck about our question of the week last week. Sorry about that. Nobody cared. So that's what it is. But so I dipped into our old box, the old deck of cards, first deck of cards that got everyone's attention, and I pulled out this week's question of the week from the old deck of cards.
Okay.
And here it is.
Name a fast food restaurant you love. Love others find what? Okay, hold up. Name a fast food restaurant you love that others find sorta gross.
So that is the question of the
McDonald's.
week this week. There you go. I give you McDonald's. A lot of people, I'll put out their Qdoba because people think that's steak Mexican and don't like it. So
There you go.
Too. I'll throw out Qdoba as my answer. Dad?
I'm going to go with Culver's.
Actually,
okay.
Here you go. Here you go.
Culver's.
Here you go. This one's for you, Mom. Any fast food with fried chicken.
KFC in general. No. Here's the opposite. The opposite. It's something you like that people think is gross.
Okay,
there you go. Perfect.
I like fried chicken, but Mom does not.
There you go.
That's
perfect.
why I said that in general.
Okay, perfect. So there you go. Question of the week. I'll put up on all the social media platforms, and everyone can answer. Hopefully, this one gets some attention. Be nice, please. Give us some answers. That would be fun. And that
Hooters does not count.
The Hooters is closing anyway, so it doesn't matter. Hooters is going to break up anyway. They can't get any more money off the Tatas. Moving on. I painted the label of the Lulu.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
All right, so we're ending a little bit of Fantasy First. 2 reasons here. First of all, tomorrow is Cristian's last day of school, so his summer officially starts tomorrow. So we're going to end this with Summer Belongs to You from the Summer Belongs to You special. On the YouTube side, you get to see their actual names, even though on Spotify it is this character name.
I survived sophomore year. Woohoo!
But right here on the screen is Summer Belongs to You. Plus, next We are 1 week away from the return of Phineas and Ferb. Officially, we are 1 week away. It is next week. I'm so excited. So it's next Thursday. Phineas and Ferb is back. So next Friday, we'll probably be watching it on Disney+. So
Just remember, there's 104 days in summer vacation.
Oh, that being
Is
said,
that actually true?
I don't know. Let's do plugs. Dad, go.
Hey! Wait a minute. There we go.
We do
Like
for you.
the show and comment on YouTube and Spotify, and follow the show on all platform shows at Generation Evolution 00. And you can also scan the QR code for
00.
more information.
That was for
00.
everyone. Do not forget the 00.
Yeah,
No.
00. Yep.
And if you find me personally on X, ignore it because I don't actually use that account. That was for you. Push and go.
Follow me on the YouTube. I almost said follow me on the Villain Zane Riley. Wow, that's a whole statement. Follow me on YouTube at the Villain Zane Riley at the Villain Zane 627. I will be streaming Yu-Gi-Oh later. That's the first time
What?
for my channel.
Really? That's interesting. Okay, cool.
I'm streaming Yu-Gi-Oh with my best friend online. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the cringiest thing you ever watched. So please stop by. It's gonna be dumb as fuck. It's gonna be fun though. Have join me and my friend.
All right. Next on Sunday's show, we're gonna be here talking about Fighter Fest, whatever they have planned for that. And
Wow, that is a beautiful picture. One of these things is not like the other.
next week we're gonna be doing a jam-packed show where we're talking about TNA All Against All Odds, AAA, WWE World Collide, and WWE Money in the Bank. Those two shows are literally happening on the same day, literally miles apart. Those two
Wow.
Adam 2 shows.
At the same time.
One's at 3 o'clock and one's at 7 o'clock, all on the same day.
Shit. I'm guessing Worlds Collide is at 3.
Yeah, World Collide is at the wrong one. That's the wrong script. World Collide is at the Kia Forum, and then the Money in the Bank is going to be at the Intuit Dome.
What I do like is Rey Mysterio's in the Dead Center.
I do appreciate that. And so
And
Vikingo right up there too.
Viking goes up there. Stephanie Vakir. Is that Dragon Lee right there?
Yep. So
And then,
very packed lineup here. So
Very, very good lineup.
all right, let's get out of here though. Let's get out of here until next week. We have a lot of stuff going on next week. Let's get out of here. Thank you all for listening, and anyone that's watching us live, the Double Tech History, thank you for that.
Thank you for sticking with us.
And we'll be back next week. Hopefully the internet issues are solved by then. Let's get out of here. I'm Blake.
I'm Christian.
I'm Mark. I love you guys.
And you've been
Why
in
do you do this?
Generation Evolution.
What is this?
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
I love you in sign language. That's what that means.
Summer belongs to you. Whatever you want to do, you make the rules. You got the tools to see it through. Summer belongs to you. Summer belongs to you. Just remember that you can do it, and when you're through it, will change your point of view. Summer belongs to you.
Thank you so very much. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night.